This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. This is the only show in the entire metro area that talks about subjects such as business expansion, construction, real estate development, really anything related to Omaha becoming bigger, more vibrant, and more prosperous. And now he's chomping at the bit for his introduction. So without any further ado, my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker in the flesh, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning, Trenton.
And good morning, Scott Voorhees on the board.
Thank you very much. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. And you want to know why? Okay, you must want to know why. It is because we go to daylight savings time tonight. I love daylight savings time. In fact, I'm one of those guys that would vote for year-round, nonstop daylight savings time.
Getting out of work when it's light out.
And that's the best part about daylight savings time. When you walk out of the
Safety
office
for kids.
Monday afternoon, normally Monday evening, but daylight savings time, it's Monday afternoon. You walk out of the office, there's bright sunshine, and you know for 8 months you're not going to have to put up with obnoxious darkness.
So one house the national legislature passed it, right?
I beg your pardon?
I think with either the House or the Senate passed it and the other one didn't.
Oh, to try and make it permanent? Well, I think the problem is if you have the one negative, if you have year-round daylight savings time, there are certain times of the year where it would be so dark for kids going to school. Like certain times of year it wouldn't get light till like after 9 in the morning or something like that. But I don't know. I'm willing to sacrifice the darkness. I'd rather have the light when I come home from work than when I'm getting ready to go in the morning.
And you can get your chores done, your honey-do list, all that. You know what else today is?
What?
National Meatball Day.
Why do you even know that?
Well, I heard them talking about it on the radio, but I want to wish my brother Tucker Magid a happy National Meatball Day. And for those of you that know me intimately or know me well, I've called him Meatball for several decades, and it would make my heart very happy if anybody that knows Tucker Magid, either by email or by phone, to wish Tucker Magid a happy Meatball Day. Let's see how many friends are listening, and he's pretty easy to find, and it's a nice little experiment.
Okay.
It's never been done on this show.
No, it hasn't. And there's probably a reason for it. But let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage is the master of mortgages, you could say. They've been doing it for well over 30 years. Holly Schneiderwind is the owner, and she has a staff of mortgage brokers and support people that do an outstanding job. Very customer service oriented. And let's face it, it's March right now, and that's the time of year where people start to think very seriously about buying houses. It's prime time for moving coming up. And one of the first things you want to do, if that might be you, is to go meet with a mortgage broker there, get an Eagle Mortgage pre-approval letter. It's kind of like a weapon and a shield all in one. So you go into what can be a competitive home buying situation if there are multiple offers, and yes, that still happens. You'll be in good shape, and it doesn't matter whether you're doing FHA, VA, conventional. They even have some of the specialty loans. But Eagle Mortgage is the place you want to do it. You can find them in person at 114th and Davenport or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Trenton, the big story this week was kind of our big story last week. It's just that we have more details now, and that's the Crossroads. As we reported last week, the size of the project has increased dramatically, about a 33% increase in cost, and that's exciting because a new big time development company has joined the fray as one of the players. A lot of challenges with the Crossroads lately. A couple years ago, you had the death of Frank Krejci, who was the driving force behind the previous ownership group, and all sorts of changes with interest rates and construction costs and everything else. So it's good to see the project is moving forward. It went before the planning board this week, and it passed as expected. But a couple of quick highlights that I did want to mention, and then I'm going to have you jump in and kind of give your thoughts about where we are with the project. But first of all, a handful of numbers. In the previous proposal, the number of residences was 596. Now that has now gone up to almost 1,300 residential units, and that does include 118 condos, ownership units. Office space has wisely decreased. Originally planned 526,000 square feet, now down to 200,000 square feet. Retail space has gone up, 239,000 up to 380,000 square feet. And the entertainment space remains about the same. A couple other things that are significant that came out of the planning board meeting this week. There will be a town square, so to speak, in the middle. Underneath it will be a few layers of underground parking, so we're hiding a lot of the parking in the new project, which has proven to work really well in some other mixed-use projects around the country. Around that square is where they're going to concentrate a lot of the higher-end retailers they're chasing. And the ownership group said to the planning board this week that they are at the letter of intent stage with two big-time national prestigious upscale restaurants. And they also said they're at the letter of intent stage just near that main central square for a yet-to-be-named large entertainment business. So it looks like this project, which I know a lot of Grow Omaha listeners are frustrated about. Believe me, for the last 10 years, we get emails, "What are going on with Crossroads?" and all that sort of thing. But it looks like they've got a good plan, a good team together, and it appears that the city is on board with the project.
Absolutely. And you also saw that the $80 million of tax increment financing has increased to $105 million in tax increment financing. It's important to note that, according to Jorge Sotolongo and the minutes and everything else, is that
he is our colleague at NAINP Dodge and a member of the planning board.
Thank you. And that money is to pay the debt service for 3 new parking garages that are underground. You can't imagine how expensive it is to tear down the current parking garage, but it sits in the corner, and that's a prime retail spot. And so the city will own those parking garages. Park Omaha will be just like they're doing downtown with the
app.
With the app, but downtown with the Mutual of Omaha Tower. And then also their Mutual Omaha's old campus, they own those parking garages at Midtown Crossing.
Well, and they're going to do a very similar thing in that 37 Farnham building, the 9-story mixed-use building under construction appropriately at 37th and Farnham. They're kind of like, that's like the condoing out. The parking garage will be a separate condo in that building that'll be owned by the city of Omaha. It's my understanding at the Crossroads, it'll be a similar strategy.
And yes, and the city can do bonds and borrow money a lot cheaper than developers. So you have that. Woodbury, it's like a $4 billion generational developer, has a great reputation, and they'll work with Lockwood Development and Century Development. And I think you're going to see something going vertical later this year. All the infrastructure, about $30 million worth of roads, the utilities, all that kind of stuff is in. And that was very complicated.
Well, and that was also the infrastructure that's already in, and we saw that construction occurring last year, a lot of it over the summer and the fall. That was $30 million investment right there. So it's a hell of a project. Interestingly enough, too, we should note that the Omaha Central Library, which is a $150 million project slated to open in 2026 on the southwest corner of 72nd and Dodge, is being pulled into the district. And the addition of that library will allow the city to pay for its $20 million contribution to the construction with redevelopment bonds, kind of what you sort of alluded to a minute ago there, Trenton. But that just kind of makes it a little bit more efficient for the taxpayers. But I just want to say something and know that neither Trenton or I have a dog in this fight. We have absolutely nothing to do with that project. So it's not like we're, conflict of interest when we say this. I know a lot of people have been very impatient with that project, and I get it. When you drive,
rightfully so. It's been like 14 or 15 years.
Yeah, when you drive by and you see something and you want to see progress there, but sometimes there's a lot going on behind the scenes that those of us who are not involved don't understand.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's a major change to take down that big parking garage, and some people would say that's a waste or whatever, but it's not efficient for the flow, and the property is in good hands, and so let's see where it goes.
Oh, yeah, I do want to address that too. I'm glad you mentioned taking down the parking garage, because I think a lot of people thought, my God, that's so wasteful to do it. And I can understand why they wanted to keep it in the original plan, because they are so expensive to build. But when the new owner of Woodbury came in there that's done so many of these big-time projects, like, no, it just does not make sense. It doesn't create a profitable development to have all the parking over on one little corner out of the way from everything.
And I think it's interesting that nobody's really talking about the Swanson Library at 90th and Dodge, which is another great intersection. And I'm not sure if that neighborhood uses it for other functions or neighborhood meetings and things like that. But it seems to me, because that's a mile away, or actually a mile and a half, that would be a perfect spot, and we've talked about this before, is that to do like a podium building where you put parking underneath it and do condos or something on top. Can you imagine the views from there? And it would be a modern-day Swanson Library.
Yeah, that'd be a great use for it. Like nice 5-story building there. To the best of my knowledge, nothing has been announced about the future of Swanson Library, but from an efficiency perspective, it would probably just be silly to keep that thing open and pretty wasteful.
Especially when you can get on public transportation and go right down the main corridor.
And it's such, as you indicated, such a prime redevelopment piece of ground.
We're going to get some emails.
Well, another big from Swanson neighborhood people. Don't you be talking about taking my library away. But I'd personally be shocked if that stays open long term. Another big story that came out, World Herald did a nice piece on Mecca and the city of Omaha's plans to expand the convention center portion of CHI Health Center Omaha. This would be a $175 million expansion that would add 24 meeting rooms to the east side, second floor of the building. This project would be built out over the loading docks below, so I imagine it would be somewhat architecturally and engineering-wise complicated. But the purpose here is to make the center more viable for today's meetings. Currently, CHI Center only has 16 breakout rooms. When you look at the CHI Center, its square footage for flat shows, trade show space downstairs, very, very impressive. Size of its ballroom on second floor, great. The pre-function space, but apparently the problem is breakout rooms. And the Visit Omaha people were quoted in the article as saying, that has changed. As a guy who speaks at a ton of conferences around the country, I have noticed that breakout rooms are getting a little bit smaller than they used to be, and there does seem to be more emphasis on breakouts vis-a-vis general sessions than there used to be. Probably makes a lot of sense to do this. The center is really well managed financially, so I personally don't have any concerns about how they would handle that cost, because Mecca and the city have done a great job with the CHI Center to date over 20 years. But this project could break ground as early as this fall and be done in 27.
Yeah, I've always been really impressed with Roger Dixon and his team down there. They want to run a good show, and they also run the parks now and the downtown park, that is, and Charles Schwab Field. And what's interesting is you those breakout rooms, they can put dividers in them so mix and match it. Also, you can have a number of different concurrent events there. So it's just not one big event with a bunch of breakout rooms. They can do that as well, but we're going to also attract several different users at a time.
And that's your news of the week, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. We're going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to bring on our colleague, Maddie Grave, from NAI NP Dodge. And we're going to chat with her about some things in the commercial real estate market. It's going to be an interesting conversation. You want to hear it, so stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Tired of walking into a dull and uninspiring workplace? Want to inject
Did you wish me a happy meatball day on the radio this morning?
a local company that produces stunning interior branding, from catchy murals and window film to recognition
Their
of history
experiment
walls
works.
and more. We have the expertise to transform your space. So, whether you're looking to impress clients, boost morale, or simply inject some
Totally, comma, at the top of the hour, exclamation point. I hope you're okay with me giving your mobile phone and email address
Pull out your phone right now.
on the air.
Open the free
Period.
iHeartRadio app and check out these podcasts. History on Trial.
In 30 minutes.
My brother's a meatball.
Wow.
Dateline NBC.
I'm kind of surprised you've never done that before. Like,
Implausible.
Well, I just heard it on the radio and I was like, national. Oh my God, it's
Listen
too good.
today on
I think we need to pass a law to ban national days. It's getting out of control. Out of control.
Actually, just said to have.
Really.
I feel like what was the most recent?
National Belly Button Lit Day. I mean, everything is a national day now.
What do you want
Actually,
to do? Call somebody
is there a
who really
Belly Button
knows
Day?
what they're doing.
Belly Button Lit Day.
Actually, comma, I
If
just
not, there will be soon now that I
people
mentioned
that
that.
know you and have your contact
Seriously, it kind of irritates me. There's too many, it's too much of it.
I mean, I'm good with popcorn day and pizza day.
Let me know.
I'm willing to ban even that.
Everybody knows about, but we sure do. The premier
Pizza day and popcorn day can stay.
Like, I'm a guy that drinks
Plays for
iced tea
great
constantly.
radio.
Do you know June is National Iced Tea Month? That's great, but we don't need national iced tea.
Yeah.
We can drink iced tea year round.
I was a fan. I feel like one of the most recent ones was National Margarita Day. So I was like, I could get on board with that.
Margaritas are one of my top 3 favorite cocktails.
Yeah.
Right up there with
National
old.
Sazerac Day.
Well, I say Sazerac's number 1, Old Fashioned number 2, Margarita number 3.
I ordered a Sazerac
They probably, if it was around here, they
at
probably
Timber.
They probably screwed it up.
Sazerac is a bourbon.
It's to be a true Sazerac, you have to only use Sazerac rye bourbon,
Okay.
which is in the old-fashioned bottle. You can buy them in Nebraska.
I loved my late
You've got to
father-in-law.
take that,
He
what is it?
lit up a room, but his vision
absinthe
dimmed
or
with
something?
age.
Yeah,
He had
you got to do a
age-related
careful spray, or you got to do a rinse, and
or
it.
AMD.
You got to have Peychaud bitters. If you don't have Peychaud bitters, it's not a Sazerac.
Do you all this at home?
No, I don't.
I do.
Chris does. But I tell you what, like 90% or more of the places in Omaha where I've ordered a Sazerac, the Sazerac sucked, and it wasn't anywhere like what it's
So
supposed to be.
then you order an old fashioned?
What's that?
What's an old fashioned?
Old fashioned is bourbon of your choice, simple syrup, Angostura bitters.
What's that berry?
Then it's got an orange zest and a cherry.
Sometimes French bitters as well.
What do you call that cherry? Is that the fancy cherry in the old fashioned?
Well,
Maraschino, but you can get
No, the really concentrated one.
Labardo, was it Labardo cherry? Lizardo cherry or something like that. Some people, are they, like in recent years, those black cherries that are soaked in, those have kind of come in, but traditionally, I think they used a maraschino cherry.
Regional and national co-ed teams
I can't bring myself to buy a $30 bottle of
Well, sometimes the simple, stupid old maraschino cherry tastes better.
Yeah, I
510.
Luxardo cherry.
510.
Nominations for the
5151.
DJ's Hero Award, awarding college scholarships for overcoming adversity. Nominate your hero by March 13th at DJ's Hero.
Don't put your.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center with 4 metro area locations, taking care of both your auto body needs as well as mechanical needs. Our other sponsor is Cheer Athletics, the nation's Cadillac brand of all-star cheer gyms. The Omaha location is located in Papillion, just a little bit southwest of Highways 50 and 370. We have with us our colleague Maddie Grave from NAI NP Dodge, one of our brokers over there. And it occurred to me a few weeks ago that we haven't had Maddie on the show for a while since right after she started in the business 5 years ago. Maddie, welcome back. A belated return to Grow Omaha.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I always enjoy listening to the show, so I appreciate you letting me join this morning.
And you've gotten mentions over the years. You and I have worked together on a number of projects, and probably most notably, They're building it out right now at 1416 Howard is the new home for the beloved Big Brothers and Big Sisters local office, and they're going to extensive build out. It's a building that was Patrick's Market, and then it was Flywheel before Flywheel moved to the Ashton building and changed their name. But a great organization and great people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there'll be a great use for that building, and that was a really awesome deal, and excited to see what they do in that building.
So Maddie, when you started about 5 years ago in the business, you back then you were pretty much fresh out of college, and so you started the business, and a lot has happened. Give us a little overview of your impression of the commercial real estate market in those 5 years, and what do you think has changed? What's significant?
In 2 minutes.
Yes, that's a great question. I feel like from when I started in the industry, like you had said, a little over 5 years ago, it's a pretty different market now. I would say some of the biggest contributing factors to that, I would say one being the difference in interest rates from where it was 5 years ago versus today, is probably one of the biggest contributing factors. And then, I would say the other is probably just the overall lack of inventory. And I've kind of been seeing that from all different property types, from industrial to retail to investment sales. Right now I'm working on a couple of multifamily listings and have been getting a lot of interest and attraction from local buyers as well as buyers out of state. And I think a good reason for that is there's just a lack of inventory, especially on investment sales side of things. So that's been pretty interesting to see. I think, there's a lot of buyers out there, especially interested in the Omaha market since it is such a strong market. But just the overall lack of inventory, I think, has been the biggest change from when I started 5 years ago versus today.
Very, very good. And when you get calls from from the coast or out of town buyers for these apartment complexes, and you usually handle how big are these apartment complexes?
I've kind of done a wide variety from as small as 20 units up to 200 units. But yeah, there is a ton of interest from out-of-state groups wanting to be located in Omaha. And
do they say why they want to take their money and put it in Omaha versus other markets?
Yeah, I think the biggest attraction is just the Midwest market is obviously a lot different than these buyers in New York City. It's a lot different market, and I think Omaha is kind of an overlooked market for some of these out-of-state groups. And so I think just, the strong market that Omaha is.
Is it higher returns? Is it the quality of people, the tenants? They want to diversify the portfolio. What kind of comments do you get?
Yeah, I would say pricing is a lot more favorable. I actually yesterday was chatting with a gentleman from Chicago. He's going to be purchasing a property here, and he just said Chicago market looks a lot different than the Omaha market, and I think pricing is a big factor of that, and it's just a different tenant mix versus some of the properties that what he would be able to afford in Chicago versus in Omaha looks a lot different.
Omaha, we enforce our police enforce the laws.
well, we hope and we do encourage that. So Maddie, with the multifamily market, which you do quite a bit of, are people, investors, looking for different things in multifamily properties than they were several years ago, or has that kind of remained static?
I feel like that's been pretty steady. I would say the most consistent feedback I get from these groups is I want value add. And that's pretty common. I say, you and everyone else would love a value add opportunity. So that's just challenging of, when there's a lack of inventory and everyone's kind of out after the same thing.
So for our listeners that aren't in commercial real estate, value add can mean a number of different things. But basically it means I want to buy a property at a discount and I can do repairs and make it worth a lot more than the cost of the repairs plus the purchase price. So it can mean a lot of different things, but it's something that's thrown around kind of loosely.
All right. Well, we're going to take our middle of the show break for the news, but when we come back, we'll chat more with our colleague from NAI NP Dodge, Maddie Grave, about a few different things in the Omaha commercial real estate market. We also have your Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight coming up. So much to look forward to. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Did you already send that to Tucker?
Okay.
It says,
what's this?
I already got a text from a listener who did not want to be identified.
That wasn't me.
Banking and deposit accounts.
I'll send it right now.
To local decisions about financing your goals for growth. Frontier is the bank.
The joys of having a radio show.
Okay, I just texted him.
And the big brother that you like to pick on.
Yes, and
get ready to start the conversation. Frontier Bank.
He's probably gonna be like, "Who is this?"
FDIC, equal housing lender.
my sister sent this to our family chat, saying that Cindy ought to wear that
My God.
a meat suit.
The lady.
For his wife.
That's awesome. Associated Tax, 48th and Dodge.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
If you've driven by any of Anderson Convenience Market's 8 metro area locations, you probably noticed.
Did you send one, Maddie?
I did, yeah. I haven't heard back yet. He's probably trying to figure out who this number is.
For generations, Amoco was one of the most iconic fuel brands in America, and now it's better.
He's so lucky to have you as a little brother.
Yes.
I mean, like, who wouldn't want you as a little brother?
Detergent package, resulting in the best long-term care.
We gotta post this on the
Anderson
website.
Convenience Market, serving Omaha since 19.
Who wouldn't like you as a little brother?
Quality Amoco fuels.
Are you the youngest?
Of course.
I know it's hard to believe.
That checks out.
You're the youngest, right?
Yep.
Who's the best?
Yeah, I feel like after me, that was why they didn't have any more.
Couldn't go any further.
Contact Holly and her professional staff right here in Omaha.
I wish you could do a blind carbon copy on
Mortgage or
text.
refinance and let them beat the national lenders on rates and service. Eagle.
You know, it's not something you need very often, but when you need it, you want it.
Mm-hmm. When did you guys start videoing?
It's been about a little over 3, I think it was 3 years ago, January, because we did it before we started. The newsletter 3-year anniversary is coming up next month, but I think we brought the camera in January, February of 21. Yeah.
15 to 20 miles per hour. Clear at 26 overnight. Sunny.
Okay, so what are we talking about in the next? Can we have a few more minutes just to talk about a couple other things? What else do we want to hit?
That's your forecast.
Did you want to talk about our land?
Tired of walking into a dull and
Yeah,
land for sale.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Strip center, gas station. You bring it up.
Oh, yeah. All right, this is the plan. Yeah. And I'm a little bit nervous about this because we have history of us making a plan, and then the first thing we're supposed to say, and then I point to you and you're like, ugh. So are you listening? Okay. So I'm going to do the commercial trip. This may be the makings of another video blooper. So just be prepared. But I'm going to do the commercial real estate development spotlight of the week brought to you Noddle Companies. And when I'm done with it, I'm just going to go like this.
Okay.
And you're going to just take it with that topic about the land. Okay? Now, the last time this happened, it didn't work. If I recall, he was
You
on
do the
his-
Noddle,
he was on
and
his
I'm
phone.
going to say,
You get into the Maddie interview.
okay.
All right, here's what I'll even do. I'll say we've got our colleague Maddie Gray from NAI NP Dodge with us. We're chatting a little bit about the real estate market.
Okay, and then I'll just say, I'll say, Maddie, you and I have been working with Lockwood Development on one of their land developments.
Say, give it about a
Yep.
60% chance that it works.
Okay. Hurtful.
You have a track record.
Hurtful, accurate.
You
have a track record.
Ask a retina specialist about FDA approved.
So Tucker texted back and he said, "Thank you. Who is this? I don't have your phone number. I'm glad Trenton put you up to this."
My response is
Scott, we use
the response I
Tucker's
received.
information,
The response I
Send me
received is
Tucker's information.
so you can wish him a happy National Meatball Day.
Okay. Did you send it? Yes.
my response, Maddie. My brother is truly a piece of work. Thank you for the well wishes. Hope you and your family are well. My brother is truly a piece of work.
You can send it to Paul and Matt too. Don't do it.
He's just buried.
Oh, that's funny. Who knew? National Meatball Day.
And Tucker's the personality of the guy that just wants to be left alone. He's the guy that just wants to kind of be left alone with stuff like this.
Yeah.
For over 20 years. I'm Darcy Dingman, and at Dingman's, our family cares about you. Accidents are hard, but choosing a repair shop
My
is
brother.
Visit Dingmans.com. That's Dingmans.com for the top choice in collision repair. At Dingmans, we'd rather be the best
Then apologize for anything
I have been
less.
calling him.
All right, here we go.
For
Okay.
years, period.
Emery Songer.
Hey, I listen to you guys every day. I love your show. Appreciate the call, man.
2 to 6 on News Radio 1110.
And welcome back to the show on this National Meatball Day. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid in the KFAB studio. It's Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. And it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies is building Omaha, and they're known for a lot of things. You can go see some of these headquarters buildings in Omaha, like the HDR headquarters building at Exarban Village, the beautiful Valmont headquarters building near 150th and West Dodge Road. Those are both big time companies. A Valmont Fortune 1000 firm, HDR, one of the top 10 architecture and engineering firms in the world. And Noddle Companies does projects like that. They're also known for making places like Exarban Village and River's Edge on the Council Bluffs Riverfront and Builders District in North Downtown. And I wanted to talk today about Exarban Village, perhaps the best known active Noddle Companies project, at least here in Omaha. And we're going to talk specifically about the inner rail. Got to go check it out if you haven't been there for a while. The outdoor patio improvements are now installed. It is a very different looking patio. When you walk around there now where the fire pits and the chairs were, there's like pergolas covering it. Some of them have sides to kind of block the north wind a little bit. It just looks a lot more comfortable, makes it easier to use the outdoor space for a greater portion of the year. Also right there in that same kind of outdoor square outside of Inner Rail Food Hall on the east side of the HDR building, Le Macaron, something like that. It's a French cookie place, is getting really, really close to opening. I was down there just this week and looked in the window. I was that guy looking in there, the construction workers inside. I think I scared the hell out of them, but it's coming along really nice, and that's going to be a fun addition. Big national brand coming to the Omaha area.
I'm offended that you called macaroons cookies.
Well, whatever they are, they look good and they're French. And that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Appreciate their support of everything we do here on Grow Omaha, and you can find out about them or learn more at noddlecompanies.com. We have our colleague Maddie Grave with us today. She's one of our brokers at NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate.
Maddie and I have worked on several projects together, but one of them is a land development that Lockwood Development is doing. Maddie, tell them about what we're doing over there and where.
Yes, yeah, we have a couple of different lots available for sale. It would be on the northwest corner of 192nd and Harrison. Currently, some of the users out there now, there's Centris Federal Credit Union. There's a Primrose Daycare. There will be an auto user out there. So we do have, like I said, a couple of lots still available for sale. I think it would be great for coffee user, a C-store. We've kind of been talking with a gentleman that might be doing kind of a multi-tenant retail strip center. So really could serve a wide variety of different users out there. So would love to see, like I said, either coffee or C-store. I think would be a great fit out there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Lockwood's been doing a really good job on that project as well as others. And even though we see higher interest rates, Maddie, and we see construction costs high and stuff like that, people are still buying land. I know you do a lot of apartments, but you also do other things. What's your take on the market given those conditions I just talked about?
Yeah, I think, like you had said, there's still people out there buying, owners still wanting to sell. I work with a lot of tenants and landlords as well on the leasing side of things, and that has been super active and busy. I know, a lot of the groups that I have worked with, it's been kind of cool. Within the last year, when I had started about 5 years ago, those leases were coming up for renewal, and a lot of those tenants that some of my first clients that I had worked with had come back to me and I've outgrown this space. I need 2 more locations, or I need a warehouse for all the inventory based off of how quickly I've grown. So that's very cool to see some of these smaller businesses in Omaha just growing and expanding. So definitely deals still happening.
Along those same lines, and this is kind of a topic for both of you, not only are we still seeing a lot of things happening, like Trenton, you said, people are still buying and selling, but there's just an awful lot of construction right now. And when I drive around most other cities, say over the last year, I don't see the level of construction usually, unless you're like maybe downtown Austin or something like that. I don't see the level of construction there that I tend to see here. And I've just been personally impressed with that, because you look at these interest rates increasing, and we know the cost of construction has gone up, and we know there's labor shortages, and we think our population is growing here pretty robust-like, but it's not necessarily booming. I find that whole thing with all of the construction just fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think, there's still, obviously, like you said, as you drive around, see lots of different construction going up and new developments. So I think that's a great sign, and part of why Omaha is such a great market and city for out-of-state buyers to be attracted to, because of all the growth and development happening.
To add on to that, Jeff, there's a few different types of projects. There is a lot of not-for-profit organizations, from the new adolescent mental health facility at Children's Hospital to there's a couple of projects. Madonna School has a campus going on 72nd Street. Community Alliance just finished, I think, is finishing their project over there. You have the expansion of the convention center you talked about. There's a lot of civic projects going on. You got the streetcar going on, obviously, but you also have a lot of private companies, Mutual of Omaha, and people are not afraid of 7% interest rates, and they're just loving 4% interest rates. And so some of those people probably will try to refinance and stuff, but there's plenty of work out there if you're in the trades, and I'm sure we have plenty of travelers, people that travel to do construction.
Yeah, well, Maddie, we appreciate you jumping in here on Grow Omaha with us today, and Trent and I both enjoy working with you, and we'll have to have you back sometime, and we'll just kind of talk real estate. But that's our colleague from NAI NP Dodge, Maddie Grave. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right, we're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, it's time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time, and I'm looking at the list, and a lot of things on it. So stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Hello, Grow Omaha fans.
I accidentally said Turner. They're not the sponsor anymore.
Tucker says, okay, call off the dogs.
Oh, no. I wonder how many texts he's gotten.
It was funny for a while.
Has your athlete ever considered joining all coaches?
His phone's like,
national co-ed teams that compete with the best
Oh my
teams in the
God.
league. Go to caomaha.com
And John Meyer said to him, said, happy National Meatball Day. Thank you. Punch Trenton in the back, in the sack for me.
I think it makes me back.
No, I think
No,
it was
actually,
a
it's probably sack.
Knowing John.
I said punch him in the meatballs for me.
John says it'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, you're lucky he's in Colorado, because you would get punched right now.
Yeah, that's
I've witnessed that.
I haven't texted him yet, Trenton, but I like to wait a few days and then be like, I hope I'm not too late. But I wanted to wish you a happy nightfall.
You got to do it.
That's hilarious. Just when he thought he was done with it all.
I know this is belated.
That's funny.
We're probably making sloppy joes by now with him. Sloppy Joes are like the croutons of.
The croutons of meatballs.
Or call for a quote today.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself.
Can't remember the last time I had a sloppy Joe.
I know.
What's that?
I said I can't remember the last time I had a sloppy Joe.
They were good. They can be good.
We have them we have them a couple times a year at our house.
Sloppy Joes, sloppy
Stephanie makes them with chunks of bell pepper in them. Like she'll do like green, red, and yellow bell pepper in them. They're really good that way. Yeah. And she makes it very spicy. We make everything spicy in our food.
What we need is a new home of a loose meat sandwich.
What?
We always have Made Right and
we're back.
All right, we're back.
Emery Songer.
You guys are pretty funny. I really enjoy what you're talking about.
Thanks, Marge. Appreciate that.
2 to 6 on News Radio 1110 KN.
And welcome back to the show. It's time for the lightning round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. Thanks to Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center for sponsoring the show. I'm Jeff Beals. He's Trenton Magid, and let's get started. Big Grove Brewery and Tap Room. Big Grove Brewery and Tap Room. Very popular chain of brewery tap rooms across the state of Iowa is coming to Omaha in 2025. They have locations in Salone, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, and Iowa City, Iowa. And Trenton, the place they're going to open in Omaha, this is their first out of Iowa location, is a bit of a surprise. It's the University of Nebraska Medical Center. They're actually going to be inside the new Catalyst building on the Saddle Creek campus.
That sounds like a great idea.
Well, that's the Med Center's way of creating patients. And anyway, it's very, very popular. And I've yet to try Big Grove. I apologize. And I'm a beer guy, but I haven't tried it yet. But sometime when I'm in Iowa, I'll go give it a try before it opens in Omaha in 25.
You know, it's those shared office spaces with all those creative young minds and stuff like that feel that they need to have kegs next to their ping pong tables.
There is. Maybe it's for the researchers.
Yes. They can certainly do a lot of studies with it. I'll be part of the control group.
Yeah, but I will say the plan for the Catalyst building all along was to have some sort of like food court in there, and some would say beer is food. Work is coming along on a new Mediterranean concept to be known as Clio, C-L-I-O, that will be on the northwest corner of 12th and Howard. Yeah, 12th and Howard in the old market. This is the former Wheatfields place, and it is part of Flagship Restaurant Group. Now, Flagship Restaurant Group, a lot of people have heard us mention that. That is an Omaha-based conglomerate of restaurants, and some of the brands they have that are located in Omaha are Blatt, Blue, Flagship Blue Sushi, Flagship Commons at the Westroads, Memoir, the new restaurant in the Mercantile, Plank, really good seafood place in the old market, and Roja are ones that they currently have open in Omaha. But I looked at their website this morning. This is where, I'll say it really fast, this is where Flagship Omaha Company, they now have places in Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, Iowa, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Denver, New Zealand, Australia, Birmingham, Alabama, Chicago, Indy, KC, Lexington, Kentucky, Cleveland, Nashville, Dallas, Houston, Austin.
Wow.
Omaha Company's doing pretty well.
It's very impressive, and good people as well. And they've really obviously changed the restaurant scene in Omaha and added to it. Their customer service is really good, and I go to Blue a lot. I go to Plank. I go to probably all of them.
Well, I think they also have a concept called Ghost Donkey, which I believe that's opening in the Mercantile, if I remember it correctly.
Sounds delicious, and the I don't know what to say to that. In Des Moines,
something.
I think they have a tiki bar in Des Moines.
Yeah, they do have a couple of concepts in Des Moines. The place where they have a lot of concepts is Phoenix. They have all sorts of things there in Phoenix.
I want to be on their naming team.
Well, give them a call. So Omaha Teriyaki, not part of Flagship Restaurant Group, plans to open in a 2,000 square foot space in Miracle Hills. It's the former Paparotti's space, 723 North 114th Street. Our own Sam Estivo, broker at NAI NP Dodge, represented the tenant. It has the same ownership as a popular food truck known as the Best Teriyaki. That food truck is based near 72nd and L Street. Cunningham's Pub and Grill. Cunningham's Pub and Grill, second location in the Blackstone District at 3814 Farnham Street. Soft opening going on right now this weekend. And then it's all official. The big time main openings planned for Tuesday, March 12th, 5 days before St. Patrick's Day.
Which is on a Sunday this year.
I wonder if that will dampen spirits.
You know, we don't. I'm sure there's still some issues regarding staffing and logistics and stuff like that, but people are opening up restaurants, it seems like, at a record pace. And the talk was always about getting help, and you'd see all these empty tables because they couldn't get people to serve and all this kind of stuff. And I wonder if there's been those people have come back now that some of the government money is washed off for some of them. And I'm not saying that all restaurant workers took free money. I'm just saying it seems like we're more in a balance of staffing.
Medida Clothing has opened at Village Point Shopping Center. It's located between Altered State and 402 Eat and Drink. This retailer is, quote, trend-driven women's clothing boutique, end quote. Also has a store in Lincoln. It's actually owned by two people who are former Miss Nebraska USAs.
So I believe they also have a store at Legacy.
Okay, I did not know that.
I meant to point that out to you on the newsletter.
Thank you. Crumble Cookies is opening a Bellevue store April 5th at 10403 South 15th Street. In English, that's in the Wolf Creek Plaza. It'll be located between an existing Starbucks and a Chipotle. And staying on the cookie theme, Insomnia Cookies build-out is underway, or so it appears. The outside windows are covered with Insomnia branding posters. But that is in the Capitol District, 10th and Capitol downtown. Popular cookie concept. Viva Le Rock Lounge. Viva Le Rock Lounge is coming to a retail strip center at 124th and West Center Road. It's part of the Westwood Plaza complex. Opening this spring, possibly next month in April. According to Viva La Rock's Facebook page, it is dedicated to the celebration of rock and roll and will have museum-esque experiences with high-quality cocktails. It won't do live music. It'll be more of like an honor of rock and roll with like memorabilia and posters and displays and artwork and that sort of thing.
Jeff, I need to apologize.
Go ahead.
It might be, I need to check, and I live by there, but Medida may not be at Legacy. I couldn't find it online, but I will report back.
You just want an excuse to go visit Medida. Costco at 180th. A lot of construction progress lately. This is on the southeast corner. Yeah.
They're really going up with the steel, but some retaining walls and things like that. What hasn't started yet is the Fleet Farm.
Oh, right. And I'm surprised by that.
Well, and there's a local developer that's working on that, both that one and 192nd and 370. So it'll be interesting to see which one they do first or if they do them together.
When I drove by the 192nd and 370 site maybe a week ago, it looked like, and I don't know this, but it looked like they were doing some site preparation for Fleet Farm. They were doing something in the middle of that development for what looks like a very large building. So I would assume it's that. So that leads me to believe maybe the Gretna location will end up opening before the West Maple one, which was announced a year or two prior. But we'll have to see how that all plays out. Nick's Quorum Bar and Supper Club is going to open up on March 19th inside the Hilton Omaha Hotel downtown. I actually got to go to a tasting preview for this place recently, and it was really good. The chef was in town. He's like a celebrity chef. Who's involved, and this is not just going to be some restaurant's got to have, the hotel's got to have a restaurant. This is going to be like a top-notch place.
What's it replacing?
It was Liberty Tavern is what it was called, which was kind of always seemed like kind of a generic hotel restaurant to me.
Is that where the fire pit was?
Yeah, the fire pit on the outside? Yeah, just inside the window from the fire pit was where Liberty Tavern was located.
Good location.
And that's where Nick's Quorum is going to go. But yeah, like I said, the food tasting thing was really good, and I can't wait to go give it a try when it opens up later this month. Well, the unicameral passed LB 624 this week to better coordinate between Nebraska Tourism Commission and the Nebraska Department of Economic Development. And the hope for it is that we will never, ever again have something as stupid as Nebraska, honestly, it's not for everyone.
I don't know who was what they were thinking.
Well, the music's playing, so we're out of here. Hope everyone has a great week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. We'll chat with you again next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.